This is Ben from Common Knives, and you're listening to the High Carbon Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the High Carbon Podcast. We have a guest this week, but before we get started, Albert had something he wanted to tell us about his week.
Nothing happened. Next.
Perfect. We had a little chat in Instagram. Paulie mentioned something about some packaging thing, if we were going to all join it or not. Do you remember this, Paulie, and what got you concerned about it? Because I heard some more details today.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I was the backstory is that I was looking for some new abrasives for sharpening at Dr. Marv's blog, and he has this disclaimer that he will stop sending after August 1st all of the parcels to EU countries. Anything outside is fine, and it is due to PPWR, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Should I be concerned? I'm reading some German's blog. Should I do something about that? And I start Googling and I find some local entities. And actually, it is a reglement for basically recycling and waste and about packaging. So the products that you are selling as a company and the actual packaging should be up to a certain standard, which will change on August 1st. And you also need to do accounting on that. There are special systems in every EU member where you need to input how much of the actual packaging you are sending out. And at least in Lithuania, if you are sending more than 500 kilograms of packaging in a year, you have to pay taxes on that. And better than that is if you are selling to any other EU country, you need to register in their system and input it there because your end customers are receiving the packaging there. And you also need some certification from your packaging makers. So it's basically they are trying to create this, at least the reglement is trying to create this circle economy where you are using more recycled materials. So your box maker is using the recycled materials. So the recyclers are getting some business and the materials are getting recycled, blah, blah, blah. And if not, you are paying some taxes on top of that. But if you are sending any of those boxes and your wonderful products up to USA or, I don't know, Switzerland, they don't care. They don't care about
Send the
the
trash
packaging.
everywhere else. Too.
But yes, send it everywhere else. But if you are selling to any EU country, you have to be in there in that system. And, so yeah, that is not very fun. Actually finding out about it, reading somebody's blog that I need to do something. But I think, well, first of all, my biggest gripe with this is that there is no unified system. I would love to have
crazy.
a unified system. And this is only for B2C customers. So if you are selling directly to a customer, if you are sending it to a distributor, let's say to somebody in Poland, in Spain, blah, 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 it's their obligation to fill it out for you. And you are only the one who is providing the certification for your packaging. Another stupid point on there is, okay, it's not that stupid, but the boxes, and I haven't read into it in the fine print, but the general motion is that the box cannot be too big for your object. So you are not sending excess of cardboard, any filler material. It's like, what? It's okay. But I talked with a buddy who is, he has some smart ideas, And what if in the invoice you include the price for the packaging? So it's basically not the packaging, but you are selling a product. So it shouldn't be inventorized in that system. Only the free packaging should be inventorized. And a similar notion was here in Lithuania in retailers, which used to give out these small plastic bags for your grapes, bananas, or potatoes, or whatever. They were for free and they were waste. But now they are selling it for 1 cent. So they are
Mhm.
a product that you are buying, which does not need to have any accounting in that. So I think there is a little bit of a loophole there. So
So
yeah.
I got some way more vague information. I've heard about this. Maybe I don't know. Matt was still on the podcast with me when I started hearing about this. So this was almost 2 years ago. But the information that I got was a little bit different. Like as soon as you add your like Baltic blades onto the box, you're considered the manufacturer of the packaging. Then you have to follow more strict rules. You have to have like, like you said, inventory or some kind of numbers on your boxes. If you have like unbranded boxes, like I purchased my boxes through a company called Rayapack, and they already have their stamp and the stuff's labeled and has a SKU number and everything. Um, as long as my name isn't or my brand isn't on the package, I should be okay with that according to these rules. And like you said, not oversized. Like you get Amazon packages sometimes, and there's a box inside of a box, and then like 10 pounds of filler. Like that's what they're trying to reduce. I don't think it's going to affect us a whole lot, but there's always a chance that you can get caught and screwed over by it. But I
Yeah,
think,
we already have like a system like that in Germany actually. So it's like I'm paying since I started knife making. You have to. It's the same system, but I just made it out now for like the whole EU. Like it already happened in Germany like a couple of years ago. Which yeah, it's kind of annoying because you're just paying some more money for I don't know what actually, but oh well.
That I don't care about the money because we have like half a ton limit, at least here in Lithuania.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm s-
We don't.
I'm selling a lot in my local market, but you know what I hate? I hate paperwork because of paperwork. Now there is another system that I have to fill out. Yeah, and for every country I sell around the Europe also. It's not enough that we get tariffs from US, so the sales are a little bit down in the US market, but also we are getting okay, look, we are not getting like fucked, It's only because I found out about it. And I'm feeling like this.
he's
Now
sweating
another
already. He's
thing.
sweating.
Yeah, yeah, it's so terrible. And then you have this idea like, what else do I do not know? What else should I be doing? And I could get fucked, right?
Yeah.
Method Keith suggested. So if I buy my boxes from some sort of supplier or producer, and this company already has it has the numbers and stuff on it, can I just use it without any paperwork that I have to do?
From what I read today, that's enough, at least for us in Austria. I mean,
Good.
I don't know. By the way, our guest is Chris from Forge Works today. That's the man you were hearing in the background. If you didn't recognize the voice, Chris.
Hello.
Chris, how does that work in Germany exactly?
I don't know because they actually always ask me for like how much are you shipping out, like how many kilograms you're using of cardboard, how many kilograms are you using of package fillers and all that kind of stuff. And then you have to kind of guesstimate on what you're using and then you send that off. And then they're saying you have to pay now, I don't know, $200 a year or so. And then you're kind of fine. But I haven't read into like the new EU law. That's just a German law I have to follow now. So I actually don't know. That's just how it works in Germany. Everyone has to do it, and yeah, you always have to pay. It doesn't matter if you're just shipping out 10 kilos or 500. You always have to pay.
So it sounds like the key is you just got to keep a paper trail. You got to have some kind of a system where you're at least writing stuff down, whether it's 100% true or not. You're just guesstimating.
Yeah, yeah. I think for us, it's just like probably like just guesstimating. I just weighed like one of my cardboard boxes and some of the shipping material, and then I said like, okay, I'm shipping out. Like last year, shipped out that and that amount of knives. Let's say 500 knives, and then I can say, okay, maybe next year I do 550 or so, and then I just calculate that weight up, and then I just maybe do a little over it, and then I just send it off, and then I'm like good to go. That's just what they want to have, and then you get like a certificate that you are like you're now eco-friendly, blah 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 blah, and you're doing all that kind of stuff. That's how it works in Germany.
At least you could do it once a year. Here you need to do it monthly, and then there are quarterly reports.
I
So
have to actually look into the new law. Maybe it will affect me, but yeah, uh, I don't have the time for
yeah, it's
for all
crazy.
that kind
Yeah,
of stuff. That's like sometimes the problem. Like there's so many little tasks that you have to do, and then you get another task and another task, and then sometimes you're like, what else should I do? I'm just a single person company. I'm not like a multi-million company who can just say, you and you and you're doing now this job, deal with it. And then we are throwing money at it. We're just a one or two guys in a workshop doing our accountants, doing our media, doing our shipping, doing our knives, and like we are
yeah.
doing like 10 jobs in like one person.
And now you gotta weigh boxes in plastic material and shit, which is retarded.
Yeah,
All the filler
that's great.
packaging that I use from a local company that just throws that shit away. Like I go over there and get packaging stuff all the time. So how do you write that off? Like
Yeah.
I'm not buying it new and then putting it out there. It's already been recycled once,
Yeah, I'm
right?
also reusing like packaging material and all that kind of stuff. Um, and because I'm just shipping out in like small box, so I don't even need that much packing material. But sometimes I have like packing peanuts from another shipping, and then sometimes I have like I don't know some
Mm,
Amazon this brown paper I use. I'm like reusing and recycling all that material because most of the times people are unwrapping their knives and then the box goes to the trash and then they're just like reusing like they're just using the knife in the end and the cardboard box just goes out of the window. So I don't see why you should actually like charge the customer more yeah, it's cool to have a nice box, but in the end you charge your customer more for the knife, just so they can have like a cool quick moment and then they are throwing that away. So yeah,
mm.
maybe one day, but at the moment I don't see the point in there.
I rem- I remember I was so mad. I was so mad, and I was thinking I would every of my knives is coming with a Kydex sheath, so I would just fucking laser the the sending sticker on top of the Kydex sheath and just send it the knife as is with a zip tie on it, so you cannot pull it out out of the Kydex sheath. And I'm like, fuck this. There is no packaging. But also, I'm very happy to hear that, Keith, you are using a company, because from the parcels that I got from you, I'm like, why is there is a third box for a vacuum? Why Keith has 3 vacuums in his household? So
Yeah,
at least I know.
yeah.
At least I know these cardboards are not yours.
That's because you order the biggest sheets. That's a little out of the ordinary thing. The other stuff is for my customers. Usually, everything fits into the size boxes that I usually buy. Um, yeah,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
I also heard
It's custom
in
packaging.
the rules, like Martin Huber has his own branded tape. As soon as you put the branded tape on there, you're considered the manufacturer of the packaging. So it changes the rules here in Austria, which is crazy. But
Great.
I also don't like that. I don't like putting giant knife material sticker on the outside, or even like from Martin Huber. I'd be worried that as soon as your name is on there, it goes through the post office, and every little guy who knows anything about knives sees Martin Huber box go through, then the thing disappears. That's how you get lost knives in the mail. My opinion, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is right. Yeah, I just ordered 500 boxes with my name on it. So,
so
I'm the
put them
manufacturer
inside
of those
another
boxes.
box that you bought with a label on it. So now you got double the packaging, and then just like reverse what they're trying to do, right? Because you just had your box inside of another box that's brand. It's not branded.
Yeah, but I think you have to do it for every box, don't you? Not just for the other box. So
Yeah,
this doesn't help, I guess. What if I
if they
put the
open it.
high carbon podcast sticker on the packaging? Am I considered the manufacturer of the box? Because we always do that. We always put a high carbon podcast sticker on it.
On the outside, you can't do that anymore, according to the rules.
Just put it inside so people can like stick it to somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
exactly.
also
Why?
one inside, or a few,
Okay.
but we have so many of these stickers. So.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think we have to deal
Yeah.
with it, like with all the kind of stuff that gets thrown at us. Like I've even got like it was like 2 weeks ago I had a really long day, but the day was actually really good. I'm working on like 32 knives at the moment, and I smacked out the grinds and they were like perfect. And I was like, and also at my other job the day was going so smooth, and I was coming home, and I opened, like, I've got a big letter, and I've opened it, and I've looked at it, and it said, like, yeah, like 3 years ago you used the sound on Instagram, and now we are suing you for like 4,000 euros for like 7 seconds of using that sound. And I was like, what the fuck? Can I say that on a podcast? I hope so.
Of
Okay,
course.
cool.
Yeah, say it again.
Okay.
What the fuck is right?
And yeah, now I have to like get a lawyer involved and all that kind of stuff. And they said also, yeah, this company, we have already had like over 100 cases with this exact company who is suing you, and the money that they're charging is just wild. And it's just like, it's another stupid thing that you have to sometimes deal with it. And as you heard, like, I have another job. I'm not a full-time knife maker anymore. um and like those problems, I'm like kind of happy to have like another job, and it just gives you a little bit more safety. And if problems like that occur, you're just like, well, I still have like my other loan coming in, like my health insurance is covered. So yeah, um it was a wild time, and now we have to see what comes out. Like, I wrote them a letter back this week, or like my lawyer wrote them a letter to tell them, like, yeah, go screw yourself, kind of like that. We're not paying that.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll see what comes out of it. So be careful when you're using sounds on TikTok or Instagram, all that kind of stuff. If they're copyrighted, I think it works in the whole EU. They can sue you in the whole EU. So always use copyright free music instead of some cool viral tracks as soon as you have a business. Just as a heads up, guys.
Was the
Yeah.
video still online when they wrote you the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still like, it wasn't even like a post where like I said like, hey guys, buy my knives, or like here's a code for my website. It was just like, it was one of my Tiffany sprinkled kind of knives, and then I had like the Christmas music sound, and I hanged it on the Christmas tree, and I just said like, what kind of stuff do you put on your Christmas tree? That's it. That was the post. It was just a funny kind of post, and then they just said like, we sue you for that. I'm like, oh god, another shitty thing happened. So yeah, it's fun. Let's see what they will answer, and then I'll keep you updated, I guess. But it's something new, so yeah, just be careful with that.
Did they
Yeah.
offer you, like, let's say, a cheaper fine, or did they go straight for 4.5 grand?
What they do is actually, so they don't really like kind of do like a cease and desist. What they're doing is they write you a letter like, hey, we noticed you're using our sound. Here's like the contract that we have with the label that has labeled the song, and now you can pay for the license. So we offer you to kind of buy the license, because they don't want to go in front of court, because court would be also, even if I lose, they would probably still have to pay a lot of money, and then the system doesn't work for them anymore. And like thousands of people have gotten like this leather over like the past 2 or 3 years now. And I've looked it up, and also my lawyer, none of these cases went like up to court, and there was like no court hearing about them, because they don't want to deal with court at all, because they are losing money in the end, even if they win. So yeah, it's interesting. It's just a money scheme, my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun to be self-employed, I guess. But I don't want to downplay it. You know, it's still a great experience that we have.
Well, you mentioned in one of the reasons why we asked you to come on the podcast again with us tonight. I'm just started a few days ago going full time, and when we talked in Solingen, you had mentioned that you were probably going to be taking a part-time job. How long were you full time before you went into part-time, and what made you change? What made you take that decision?
So last year in October, I've started a new job, and it's not like a half-time job; it's a full-time job. It's a 100% job, like 35 hours, with like shifts. And I think I started knife making in 2017. So yeah, I started out in the garage of my parents, and then I moved to my bigger workshop. Did it for like a long time, full time, and it has been great. Like a couple of years were like super amazing. Especially like during COVID, like business just went crazy. I know, because a lot of people like went outdoor doing survival stuff and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then somehow, I don't know, I think it's like a couple of reasons. Like our like economy sucks at the moment, I would say. Then I sold a lot of knives through Instagram and Meta and Facebook, and they, like a lot of knife makers know, they hit us hard. Which also then like downplayed my reach, and then yeah, I had to kind of put up my price. Like my knives are, I think, still at like a reasonable price, but you always have to continue to put up your prices. And then just like shitty things happen with like health insurance and all that kind of stuff. They ask for more money, and it was just like a shit show. And then I was like, I'm kind of sick of it, and I don't want to just like kind of survive, and I also want to kind of live. That was like, and I also want to like save up for my future, invest in more projects. So I couldn't like really invest in like projects I want to do. I always like could survive on everything. Like I can buy materials, belts, and all that kind of stuff, but I couldn't like save up money for example, buying like a power hammer. I think we talked about at Blade Show about it last year, that I want to buy like a power hammer for my courses. But
Hmm.
what I also promised myself, which is maybe kind of stupid, but maybe not, that I don't want to take like a credit or like a loan from a bank for my company. That's like the thing that I've said to me. If I do it, I want to do it without stuff like that. And then I had like to make the decision, um, do I invest now in my company that is not running that well? Do I take out a loan to maybe buy some more machines to get into like more courses and all that kind of stuff? Which would be super risky. And I was like at this decision point, and then a really good friend of mine, he called me up, and he's actually the guy I've went with him to Australia, and there made my first knife at his parents' farm. And then he called me up, and he said like, "Hey man, we have a job offer for you. It's for now. It's just for 1 year because someone is leaving, because he's becoming a dad, and he's leaving for like a year. Um, do you want to apply for the job?" So I was said like, I think it's kind of a sign, like, because if he wouldn't have called me, I probably would have still like went through it and like did maybe some stupid shit. But I'm like super lucky that he called me and said like, we have this offer. And then I went into the application, and they were pretty happy with me. And then they said like, you can take that job. And now I'm doing it now for a couple of months. Like I think it's like 9 months now, and it's a really interesting job. It's a great team. I have a lot of fun, and I probably have more like stress on my body because I work a lot. I work like 14, 15 hours a day because I'm still doing like 6, 7 hours in my workshop after my shift. Um, but what has been so great is like my mental state has changed so much in a better way, because I was like at a really really not dark spot in my life. It sounds like really bad, but I was like at a really low point in my life because I put so much energy into my business. And since I took that job, and the team is so great, and I learn a lot there. And since then my mental state has been so good because my health insurance is covered. I have a steady income. I can save up money again now. I can invest in new projects, which is cool. I can do more stuff that I want to do, and I don't always have to say, okay, a customer is coming in now, and I only have to make custom orders, and knives maybe that I don't always want to build. Like you can see on my Instagram now, I'm doing a lot of chef knives because I want to get more into the chef knife market, but I couldn't really like do it because I had to always fulfill orders, do all the knives that the people want, and make this the whole time. But I want to kind of improve myself, but I didn't have the funds for that. So now I have like more funds open. I can start new things, maybe getting some more new materials and all that kind of stuff, which is also pretty cool. But yeah, the strain on my body is big, I would say, but I have a lot of fun now. So I'm at a much better state now, and yeah, that's my story. I would say.
Yeah, I feel you with all the hours. I've been doing that for like 7 years. My story seems like the opposite of yours. Did it for like 7 years and got
Yeah,
tired of that. And I mean, today's only day two, but it feels like it's so freeing to not have to worry about like trying to get everything done before I go back to my 2 day or 3 day work job. Um, but it definitely
yeah.
makes
I get
sense.
like maybe yeah, maybe one day I will say, okay, business is doing now great. I invested in my workshop now, like let's say like getting a forging press, getting those courses up and running and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe I can say like, okay, now I'm doing the full time again. But for now, I want to have that kind of safety in my back to just say, okay, I can do it like that. I can do it for a couple of years like that. I'm happy. And then maybe one day I will be a full-time knife maker again. But like I'm I turned 30 last year, which is not that old, but you have to like think also about your futures, maybe one day getting kids, and you want to have something saved up and not just live for like every day, day in and day out, day in and day out, and then just yeah, scratch some money together. So I don't want to do that anymore. And there's a plus and minus always. I would say like being self-employed is great. It is amazing. It is freeing. But what I also have to say now, and sorry guys that I'm talking so much, um, it is that now I'm like more efficient in my workshop, because beforehand I was like in my workshop I was also doing 6 days a week, but then I was on my phone sending out reels to Polly, DB Blades, and all that kind of stuff, and then look at the clock. Maybe I just finish those handles tomorrow. I still have tomorrow. All those sheaves I will finish them tomorrow. And now I'm like, okay, I have to structure my work more. I have a better workflow now. Now I'm like seeing like I can do so much stuff in like a week, which is just crazy. Like I'm working on a 30 knife project at the moment, for a guy, and like I ground like I heat treated the knives. I ground them after heat treatment. I did the handles in like a week or 1.5 weeks, and I also had my other job because I was so efficient now working in my workshop because I have just limited time. So I'm like just putting on like a podcast or some music and then just work. Don't go on your phone, which is also like kind of freeing, not just always being on your phone. Um, so yeah, I'm getting more structural, I would say now with my working than beforehand.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I already started like on my first day. That's the first thing I did in the morning was try and make like make put some lists together, like short term and long term things that I want to do, like for the week, for the month. So you don't just sit there and, like you said, playing around on your phone. Um, Polly's been self employed now for what, 2 years? Polly, is this conversation getting you a little worried, or how's things going on your end?
It's fine. I
It's
can,
fine.
bro. I am understanding both. Both. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. I am understanding both sides of the camps. Like you said, Keith, it's like deworking, like having a full-time job and then changing to a part-time job. Like I did a long time. My knife making was just a hobby, and I used to do it on the weekends because I like have a hour and a half trip to my workshop. So on working days, what it was a no go. And then going from a full work week and reducing my workload to 80%. So I basically had like 1 day in a week free, and I usually take it on Wednesdays, so middle of the week. So 2 days of work, then I go to the shop, I bam 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 do some shit, and then I have 2 days of full-time work again, like the day job. And if I need something in the shop and I notice on Wednesday that I need something in the shop, I have 2 days to get it in the city, which was great. It was so cool. I would recommend everybody, even if you don't have any hobby, just reduce it from 5 weeks a day, 5 days a week, 5 weeks a day, to 4. It's amazing. It's like insanely, insanely good, liberating, and feels great. And then going full time, which was fucking scary. It was fucking scary, but I must say, I love it. I love it every day of the week. But I must say that running a small business is not for everybody. At least I talk with my family and my close friends, and they say they would worry a lot about, bro, don't you worry about if you are going to get sales next week or next month? I'm like, nah. It's not even on my mind. I'm thinking about what I want to get accomplished. And if I would be that person that worries about every single small detail, I would be fucking miserable working for myself. Yeah, the naivete kind of really helps in this place, but you still have
It
to do
does,
good
yeah.
work. Yeah. And as you Chris said, you have to structure your days. And yes, there are days where I am sending reels to you. There are days where I'm sending voice messages for 4 hours to Benjamin came on because we are arguing about something. It's fine. It's fine. There are some days, sometimes, but when you have some shit to do, you have some shit to do. And it's really, I think the most rewarding thing for me is the contrast between being a web developer, a programmer, where you release a feature that kind of affects 40 million users, which is sounds kind of, oh wow, such big effect. But I feel way more rewarded when of my clients says, dude, you did some cool shit, and I'm like, hell yeah, that is way more rewarding. That is so much more rewarding. And it does not it it doesn't kind of worry me. I feel like, Chris has been at this game far longer than I am. When he went full time, I was just starting my knife making journey. I think I started my very first knife was at 2018. And yeah, shit can change. And the economic downturns, the trends in the market. It's like, I remember somebody told me that a mini cleaver used to sell super easy. Just do a mini cleaver of any kind and people will buy it up. Do this for the handle or do that and people will buy it up. But, you have to adjust. You have to adjust and just try and release new shit and innovate and just don't stop. As one of my good friends said to me, and it's a total truth, I guess, in business. You don't always need you not only need to step on the gas pedal in business, but you also need to perpetually accelerate. Because if you do not accelerate, you keep the same speed, you are going 100 kilometers an hour,
Yeah,
you will
exactly.
fall behind. You have
Yeah.
to continuously accelerate. And this kind of shit scares me, because I think in the near future being like 5 to 10 years, uh, I think I will find a happy medium in my business, in the size of the business. And I'm afraid that the business will need to grow out of it and go even bigger, and then it's not fun anymore. It, there is this fine line where you can do, like, if you're doing customs and you are, like, let's say 2-man shop or 3-man shop at most, right? It's fun, but how long can you continue doing it? Maybe you are known for a specific style. Maybe people get bored of that style. Can you continue to innovate? Can you just have to grow. You just have to grow, and you cannot stop. But I think Alberts is a very good case of doing classes where the marketing for the classes is self-perpetuating, because people get a great experience and they are the marketing for it because they have a great experience and maybe they tell somebody about it, but they just doing knives, it's a little bit different, how happy you need to be about the product, just to brag about it and maybe give somebody it and to continue to sell it. Experience is way up here, way above just selling a product in my mind. But Keith, are you scared for the future?
I'm scared. When you just talked about Albert, I would be terrified to have that shop payment every month. But I guess with the two of you guys working and doing all those classes, you're obviously making it work.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to survive with just selling knives. So that always astonishes me how people can survive by just selling knives. Actually, I mean, there's lots of knife makers here in Austria who survive by just selling knives. I mean, there's even big knife makers who have like 9 employees. One is in Salzburg. He survives by selling shitloads of knives. And I tried to calculate how many knives you have to sell every month just to pay your bills and the salaries of your employees. I mean, it's massive. It's a massive amount of knives. So I always wonder how these people survive. But with us, it's a bit different because we have the classes, then we have steel. So steel business is always good because there's so many knife makers. So we also profit, or we make a profit out of the competition, so to speak, because other knife makers buy our steel, and Damascus steel is very expensive. So that also helps us. We benefit from the competition. Then we sell like power hammers and we restore machines, which is also good business. And then we have knives and classes and stuff. So we have a lot of different streams of income, which, if you take it together, works. Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, everyone knows that. I mean, there's months where we don't get a salary, and then there's better months where you get like a decent salary. So, but you have to have the nerves. At the end of the year is important how much money you made, not every month, right? So that's on average. It has to work out, not from month to month. But I get Chris's point. I mean, it gets frustrated. I mean, or it might get frustrated at some point. And I also get Paulie's point. I mean, how big can you grow, right? Or because you have to. I mean, that's certainly true. You have to accelerate like all the time, and that's a lot of pressure. So you have to keep innovating. That's also what we are trying to do: come up with new steel ideas, new Damascus steel, new concepts for classes. Then you have to get new contacts business wise, so other let's say chefs or whatever, outdoor people or military people. So you have to get the right contacts and the right where you want to sell your knives to. So you have to keep on hustling and working like all the time, and that's a lot of pressure. Yeah, but it's also fun. I mean, if you have like certain contacts in certain areas, it's fun. You meet new people. I mean, people you would have never expected to meet. Like, let's say Witzigmann or other 3 Michelin star chefs. I mean, I'm not a chef, so how would I meet these people other than through my knife making stuff, right? And these are very interesting people. That's a lot of fun too. But you have to keep on working and hustling all the fucking time. Yeah.
That's very true. Like the problem with me was like I was like hustling. I was like doing YouTube. I was like doing YouTube for like 2 years and like putting a lot of effort into it, like doing reels, doing everything, and it just didn't seem to like grow. Like doing new knife designs, doing like new collaborations with guys, and it just, I don't know, like it just didn't seem to work on how I did it. Maybe now, if I would start again, if I would tell my younger me, like I would do a lot of stuff different. Maybe some machines I wouldn't buy and all that kind of stuff. But after years, you're always smarter than when you started out. But I was at that point, and like it is so much fun. I love knife making, and that's why I'm still doing it. That's why I'm still doing like 5 to 7 hours after my main job in the workshop, because I love what I do. I love the community. I love the people in the community. It is so great, and that's why I'm doing this job, like the other main job that I have now, so I can continue what I love. And sometimes you have to step back because I accelerated so much and people were worrying about me. And after a while, like you not always, like you cannot be that selfish if you have like a family in the background and all that kind of stuff. You cannot always be selfish and say, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. If I would be like all by myself and like no family, no nothing, then yes, I would have totally went through it and like went through the shitter probably. But now I can say like, okay, I'm doing this main job now for to kind of have safety, and then also to invest in my workshop, and maybe one day I will be back. And also like the thing is with like finding a new workshop, because I have to find a new workshop in like 1.5 years, and that's like, then you have to invest in your new workshop, and if the business isn't flowing as well, and it's super hard in my area in the city where I live to find a really good workshop, it is so freaking hard to find something. And that's why I just want to do this job now, and I love it. And just to have some funds in the background to invest more into the company at a later point. Sometimes, yes, you have to accelerate, yes, you have to push forward, but sometimes maybe for your own safety or health, you have to take a step back. Just
Yep.
I don't want to downplay anyone. Like, if you love it and if you feel comfortable with it, do what you love. But sometimes don't be like, because for a time I felt like I I was let down by myself. Like, I was doing everything, but I couldn't kind of find the right way. And then I felt disappointed by my own. I failed. I had that feeling for a couple of weeks where I said like, I failed. I had to take another job. But now if I look back, I'm like, this was the best decision I could have made at this
Yeah.
point, and I'm so happy that he called me.
I mean, there's 2 points to that. The first point is, I mean, if you're working that hard, you are always running a risk of burning out. I mean, that's dangerous. No, I mean, you usually burn out from stuff that you love doing, not from work you don't love. So that's actually very dangerous. Yeah, if especially if you get frustrated. Like let's say with your YouTube channel, I always enjoyed your videos. By the way, I think they were awesome. But I'm a knife maker, and maybe they've been watched by knife makers and not by customers that much. We have a different, or I mean, I don't know about Andy, but I don't do this social media stuff. I mean, we do have Instagram and everything, but I don't really like it. So we try to find our customers more on a personal level or locally or in a more analog manner. So we don't sell that much through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And that's just more fun for me to do that way. But of course, it might get frustrated if you, because running a YouTube channel, I mean, no one knows better than you or Martin or other YouTubers. Running a YouTube channel, it costs a lot of time and effort and stuff.
Yeah, it does. Like, what I did is like, so I always worked 6 days a week, which I'm still doing. But I always worked like from Monday to Thursday, working off like all the custom orders and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And then maybe if I was like super motivated, I finished everything on Wednesday. So doing like 10 knives for like custom orders and like for the online store. And then I had like 2 to 3 days for filming a video. And then I came into my workshop at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I sat down, I've edited my videos for like 1.5 to 2 hours. Then I went 1 hour to the gym, went back, and then started the normal work. And that was always like my workload. And I did that for like 2 years. And somehow like YouTube, I've also spoken with Martin about it, and he was like Martin helped me out quite a lot. He was like, hey, you have to change that and you have to change that. And I was so grateful for him for all the helps and tips that he gave me. We always had like lovely chats about it, and it was just great. And he also said like, Chris, I don't know why your channel is not picking up. You're doing everything for the algorithm. You're doing better thumbnails. You're doing your editing better, and you're doing more cooler projects with like forging and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why your channel is not picking up. I really don't know. Like, and that's why I also said like Martin said, like, we're doing 2 years, 2 years of YouTube, and Martin is still doing it because his channel is super successful and his videos are amazing. But I was like at this point, and that's when I stopped. I saw like there's like no real like improvement that I can do. Like you're chasing just numbers in the end, and I wasn't super happy with it. Like I still have like one or two videos that I've recorded, but I couldn't put myself through editing them because I was just like so down. And like I spoke with Martin a lot about it, like at last Blade show, and last year was super rough. And in yeah, that's why I couldn't do it anymore. I would have, but in the end, it was just smarter to maybe take a step back. Um, but yeah, you can do a lot of stuff, and like I'm trying to do like the local stuff now because I've made like, for example, my hunting license, and then for example, I did like on our shooting range. Um, I did like sharpening services there, so I took all my tormics there, my sharpening stones, and then now because we have like not real new knife laws, but like people were like more worried about the new knife laws now. So they're like, oh, I'm not allowed to carry a knife anymore. I'm like, you're still allowed to carry a knife. The law hasn't really changed that much, but they were more worried about it because they're worried about to lose their hunting license. So no one took their knives to the shooting club anymore. They came with guns, but it didn't take their knives with them like they usually do, because they were afraid to lose their hunting license. And then I was sitting there for like a couple of hours, and like I sharpened like 5 knives, which is like not great at all. So I tried to do the local stuff. I'm still doing it. Sometimes I'm still doing events like that. But what I want to do, like my plans for the future are still doing the job, and because now I just have like a 1 year contract, and then I hope they will prolong the contract for another year, and then I want to invest into like my workshop more, maybe getting like a forging press or a forging hammer. That I don't know yet because it depends on where I will move my workshop to. That's just like the thing that I have to contemplate at the moment, and then just invest into that, and then also doing like more classes, because there are like a lot of chef knife classes out there, Damascus forging classes out there. But I kind of want to do like also forging classes, but also in my kind of style, the rock pattern and all that kind of stuff, but still doing like Damascus hunting knives, maybe also some chef knives. I don't know yet. But that's just a plan for the future. So I always have a plan for the future, but at the moment I just have to kind of step back.
That sounds like a good chance for a reset, and with a little bit less time in the shop, like you said, you get to organize yourself a little bit more. When you get in there, you actually probably get just as much work done as you did before because you're a little bit more structured. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's long days. Like for example, today I woke up at 4 o'clock because my shift starts at 5 o'clock, and then I work until 12:30 or 1 o'clock. And then luckily my workshop is only like 10 minutes with the car away from my other job where I work at, and then I just drive over there, and then I think I worked until like 6 o'clock in the workshop, drove back home, had some dinner, and now the podcast. And then next week I have late shift at the job, so my shift starts at 1 o'clock, and then I'm like in the workshop. I'm starting at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I work until like 12:30. Drive to my other job, and then I work until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, which are long days, but I love it. I love both jobs, so it's not like a job where I have to like suffer and like I just have to do it because I have to get money in now. I had like no day at my new company where I said like I hate this job. I don't want to be here. I never woke up and said like, oh, I have to go now to this company and work there and like sit off my hours. Like, no, it was always a fun time, a good time, because we're also doing amazing works. It's the same with like when you send out a knife to a customer and he replies to you like, the knife is amazing, it's just like how I wanted. And we're also making kind of handmade stuff. Like I'm making medical implants, which we are still handcrafting out of titanium. And in the end, I'm still helping people out to get um, like a better life in the end, which is still like really cool. I'm not sitting at the factory and just pressing a button the whole time. So yeah, that's amazing because you're helping people out, and sometimes you also get from like doctors who implanted that implant, you get like a message with the patient like, "Hey, thank you for making such a great product. The patient survived, and he is now a better life," which is also super amazing. That I can have now two jobs where I can make people happy again.
I think the like we always talk about the flexibility in working for yourself, and I think the flexibility in working for yourself actually allowed you, to say when to stop, when I can, I can dial it down, I can dial it up, I can do whatever I think is the best for the business, right? And you took the route of okay, I need a break, I need to find new directions, new things, because the things that I'm doing now are not working. And I think this is a very important part of being a business owner, is having ownership of the business and having the flexibility. And I think it's a really, really smart thing that you did, is not having any loans or leases, which
Yeah.
are a very big overhead, and they introduce like this rigidity in that flexibility. And then oh shit, then if I find a day job, it's maybe still not covering the loan, and you are then in a way worse position. And another really important thing, I guess, in being self-employed is having burnout and working just too much and doing way too much of the same. I am really sensitive to that feeling. At least I'm trying to be really, really careful. If I go to the shop and I think, okay, I've been working 6 days, now it's the seventh, and I enter the shop and I'm like, I don't want to be here. So it's the inner thing to listen to it and just don't go there. Take a day off, and and when I am now taking 2 days off in a week, because I have to spend somewhere my time. I have some fun activities. So then I feel really, really excited on the second day to go back in the shop, because I have so many new ideas, and it's so so refreshing. And then you are like, I'm on it. I know what I need to get done. But if you are spending too much time in there, then I'm tired. You are kind of lazy in some parts. You want to scroll maybe, and it's the worst of both worlds, because you are not resting and you are not also working, and you are in that place that you are seeing every day, which in my mind is the worst position that you could be in. And I'm not really some other podcasts are really carrying the flag of hustling and grinding and doing it. By the way, great podcast, Hustle and Grind. Nothing against you guys, but the culture of
They
just
trash talked my stippling, so I don't know.
hey, ayo, they want. I heard Ryan wants to invite you as a guest, so
I
it's
know, I
fine.
know. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
they're all cool.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
just
they're all
wanted to
cool.
fuck around.
But I think it's it's like you don't have to get your head down and just do the work. Yes, you have to be concise, be consistent, and you have to do what you have to do in that day, in that week, and that month, and that quarter, and maybe that year, because you have plans and you have to move towards those plans. But you don't have to break your back doing this. I'm a small business, everybody is against me, bro. No. No, it's a passion project. You are fucking making knives. It's so hard to make money making knives. You better have fun at it. So you don't have to, overstrain yourself and hate every minute of it. Yes, sometimes you have to do some stuff because you have to meet a deadline, which was maybe something that you thought about it. But, if you are setting a deadline remember, you are a human being, and the person that you are setting the deadline with is also a human being. You can always talk about stuff, and don't be that sleazy. Oh, I broke my leg, I cannot do this week, I will do this another week. And then, oh no, I broke my another leg. No excuses, but sometimes it's adjustable, it's fine. So have fun at it. And it does not really matter if you are working like 7 days a week, or if you are working in the evenings on it. It's still a small business, and you have to think strategically, because
Totally
time
agree.
is the most like the most important resource. When we even talked about the PPWR, it's another time suck. Not only money suck, but another time suck. So you have to think strategically about your time and well-being. So, and talking about well-being
Wait.
and very good things, fucking
know-
wait.
Do you know what always works 7 days a week though, Polly?
Motherfucker, it was a setup by myself. You paused me to do your setup.
Because you were gonna fuck it up.
Skills. Minihell.eu is the wonderful sponsor of this wonderful show. And we have a discount code for you. Carbon5, the word carbon and the number 5. You can use it at checkout to save 5%. And on what you are saving 5%? On a wonderful, amazing kiln, which you can configure to your needs. There are multiple sizes. You can choose from soft brick, hard brick, good controller, even better controller that is even more expensive, more accurate, and has all the fancy bells and whistles. And if you don't find your size that you need on minihell.eu, you can always write them a DM or an email, or maybe shoot a DM on Instagram, and Baltazar can make something really custom to you. And while you're shopping on minihell.eu, you can also buy some heat treatment foil and very nice racks from Baltazar that are for batch hardening of the carbon steel. So minihell.eu, they got the next kiln for you. And now, my lads, back to the show.
I'm totally agreeing with you, Paulie, on what you said. And like the motivation is like always stay on track. And I'm now much more motivated now. Like I have like my head is now free from like money worrying stuff to like, okay, what can I do now? Like my mind is just so much more free now, and I don't have to like kind of chase something that I'm not really want to be. And now I can be like so free, like doing like my new chef knives and all that kind of stuff. And it's just been great. And always stay motivated, and sometimes take a step back and then just push onward even harder. And it's just, yeah, you have to stay motivated. And I don't want to, like, it sounds really depressing on what I said, like, yeah, my business wasn't running that well and all that kind of stuff. But always keep driving. Sometimes you drive a little slower, and sometimes you're driving a little faster. But as Paulie said, always keep on that gas pedal. Always stay motivated. And yeah.
But it doesn't sound depressing to me at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
It sounds super positive.
Yeah, yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with failure. I think you saved your business by taking up another job, to be honest.
Yeah.
The freedom you get opens up possibilities for all kinds of creativity and stuff. So you're experimenting with new stuff, you get new ideas and everything, because now you lack the economic pressure, right? So this makes you free and might make you creative, or more creative even than you were before.
Yeah.
So you might have saved your business by doing that.
I probably did. Yeah. And like Keith also wrote me a message on like, hey man, like we wanted to invite you for talking exactly about this reason, like because Keith is now like doing it 100%, and he quit his other job, and I did the opposite. I started a new job, and I think sometimes in a knife maker or just on like self-employed persons in like total, like we always see the social media part. We always see like, oh, he's doing well, he did well at shows, and but we never hear like, if you don't sit down with the knife makers, we don't hear what's really going on, that they're struggling. And yes, every one of us in a podcast who's listening to it, and all guys on the mic here, we are struggling sometimes, and we have to speak the truth. There's not like I'm now self-employed and now I make like big money and everything is going well, because social media is so fake actually.
Yeah.
Yes, there are shitty times, and yes, in some videos I acted. I had like, I got shitty leather or something I had to pay, and then I was like, okay, now it's camera time. Now I have to be happy works. Now I have to be in a funny mood to just show, like, be engaging and all that kind of stuff. And I turned off the camera and I was like, fuck this shit.
Mm.
But you don't see that much. And maybe sometimes actually, like, I've spoken to the guys at Blade Show, maybe they said like, Chris, why don't you, what you're doing now, like speaking so openly about it, why don't you share that message?
Yeah.
Tell people that not everything is like sunshine and rainbows. It's not. And that's why I also said to Keith, like, ask me whatever you want to know. I'm open for it. I could be like, sometimes, yeah, sometimes you have that feeling like I'm ashamed of myself that I failed. This feeling comes up sometimes, and I think every self-employed guy has that feeling if he fails in a project. But we have to speak up on that. We have to tell people, you're not alone, you're not doing it by yourself. There's like other guys who are also struggling, and we have to speak up. And it's just normal that sometimes you're struggling and you have to find other ways, and there's always a good opportunity. And I had long talks with my parents. Like, I'm really close to my parents, and they're helping me out quite a lot with my workshop. And like, my dad is, for example, doing, like, I package everything and then he brings it, for example, to the post office. And my mom is doing like the accountant stuff. So they're helping me out quite a lot. And they were like always like, you have to, like, they're worrying about me, you have to find, maybe they always try to like say like, hey, maybe get another job, maybe get another half-time job. But they always saw like the passion in my eyes. They saw like my baby that I was raising up. And sometimes kids can be also difficult, and my business was difficult. And I had a lot of chats with them, and in the end, they're now also like, I think it was a really great decision that you made that. And that's why I just want to speak open about it. And maybe I'm starting YouTube again and just, not showing like sunshine and rainbow, show the real truth, to people, because it is not always the golden area.
I mean, every successful person struggled, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Jobs got kicked out of Apple, founded Next, right? I mean, and then he came back and made it a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's nothing to be ashamed about, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I'm still like super happy about it, and I'm like more happy than I was like 20, 25. Like, if you speak to Martin about it, like I had a lot of chats with Martin, and he's a really great guy, and I had a lot of chats with him, and like we saw us at like Blade Show like 25, and like the guys I met again at like 26, Blade Show 2026, and they were like, Chris, you've somehow changed, you're like more happy, you're not as depressed. Like, we had this running joke at like Blade Show 2025, like they called me depressed works because the show was so shit. I sold like 3 knives on that show, and I was like so freaking mad. Like, Albert, I think we also spoke at the show, and also Keith, you went by my booth, and it was going so poorly. And now I can just say, like this year I said, okay, I'm doing Blade Show again, even though it was shit, but if I sell some knives, that's cool, and maybe I've paid off Blade Show. But if not, it was a cool kind of vacation with my friends over in America, and I had a great time at the show, because it is not as deal breaking anymore for me at the moment than it was last year. And I had a great time. I had such a great time at Blade Show this year, and I'm going back again to Blade Show 2027. Yeah, because it was just a great time and I don't have to worry that much about it anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important with the shows too. Not only just making knife sales, but all the people you get to talk to. It's kind of like a little mini vacation for you. You got to go to the U.S. and see what everything was like over there.
Definitely.
You had an awesome spot on the table. I don't understand why. Like people walked in the front door, you were like the first table in front of them that they saw, and
But
as soon as the
yeah,
door,
the
as soon
thing
as the
is
door
they-
opened,
they-
everybody funneled left and right and made it around to the aisles, like
yeah,
right around you.
like those other tables are just like a wave breaker, and they
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
they see my table and then they just like go into the back hall and then they're just gone, and then they like at 12 o'clock after like 2 hours of the show, like people start dripping by my table. So maybe next year I want to change my table. I ask them to change my table, but we'll see what happens. But in the end, I sold more than last year. But it has been just an amazing time and I don't have to worry about it that much anymore. And which is also, it's such a great feeling because you're not at a show and you're thinking the whole time, I have to sell now, I have to sell now, I have to sell now, I have to like kind of get everything paid off again, and I have to at least make zero, like no minus and all that kind of stuff. It's just in your head the whole time. And this year I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, if I sell something, I sell something. If the flight is paid off, I'm happy.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm really, really like glad for now. And yeah, always find a new solution, even though if I'm working more, because now I have like 70 hours, 60 to 70 hours. But my mental state is now so much better, as I said before, which is so much great. And then I love going back to the workshop, and yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, we are reaching like the hour and 20-minute mark. I just wanted to say that you can definitely hear it in your voice that things are changing. I think you made the right decision. Like the other guy said, I wouldn't count it as a failure at all. I think it's like a small little regroup, and I'm sure that we'll hear and see more things from you in the future. We're excited for you. Good luck.
Definitely.
And we
Thank you.
are always here, and there's plenty of guys out there. You need some help, or you want to work on a project together or something, hit one of us up.
Yep, there's some cool projects coming in the near future, so I'm really looking forward to it, and really excited for that. I've already got stuff down in the pipeline, let's say that. Yeah, and I also have to
Cool.
get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I think if you want to say ask me anything anymore, shoot it now, or we do it in the next podcast.
Little teaser. No, I think that's it. I guess we'll thank you again for coming on. Do you want a quick shootout where people can
Anytime.
find some of your knives?
You can find them at forge.works on Instagram or forgeworks.de.
Perfect. We got some comments going on the side here again. All right, I guess we will talk to the rest of you guys again next week. Bye for now.
Jesus Christ, you said it again. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, and thank you
Bye-bye.
for the invitation for the podcast, guys. It was a pleasure again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Not playing, bro. Music's not playing. Keith.
Keith, get better.
Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, High Carbon Podcast on Patreon. Support us, motherfucker.